because you need to improve biscuits and other products which are far inferior if you compare the products, international products. Another thing is, topic is in changing needs. So that's the one. Another big threat is there that our soil health is becoming poor. Yesterday I told that soil, water, plant, animal, human health and environment all are interlinked. If they are deficient, and you know that NPK, zinc, sulfur, boron, right from 5 to 40% deficient. And because of the rigorous rice wheat system, zinc is deficient. If soil is deficient in zinc, it will be reflected in product also. Another thing, that you have the content of zinc and iron, but there is, bioavailability. Phytic acid, how is to reduce, how to increase the bioavailability, how to increase phytase, how to increase other micronutrients that can take care of heat and hunger. So that's why Dr. Sharma ji, DDG, he has desired that some workable things should be coming out, should come by the involvement of all of you, by the as per the need of the country, expert and other things. With this, before Dr. Sevaram takes, the basic presentation, what is the status, how far he has achieved through this network, I will invite Honorable DDG to give his remarks.
Very good morning to all. Honorable Chairman of the session, Dr. B. Misra ji, distinguished panelist, Dr. Ravi P. Singh, Dr. Parvinder Virk, Dr. Malhan, Professor N.K. Singh, Dr. N.P. Singh, Dr. Ravish Chatrath, Dr. S.C. Misra, distinguished Director of the Institute, Dr. G.P. Singh, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. G.P. Singh and Dr. B. Misra has very clearly told the objective of this particular session. In fact, the day I took over this particular chair, I am insisting that we should not compromise with the quality of wheat and rice, particularly these food security crops, which are eaten by 1.4 billion people of this country, and many of them are malnourished. So even during last workshop, there was some discussion, and in between we had some discussion, and Dr. G.P. Singh is taking this particular cause very actively. And now with the changing needs as far as export of wheat quality is concerned, we need to develop certain standards, in-house standards for the release of varieties. That is what I am insisting from the day one, that anything you are going to introduce in the system, it should come into a black and white form, a certain guidelines, with parameters or standards to be set up, so that our breeders and all wheat workers should know which standard they have to achieve while breeding for wheat improvement programs. Quality is number one trait for industrial importance and also from the significance of its consumption. And mainly we have three types of wheat: biscuit type, chapati making or bread making. But within the wheat flour and grains, we need to make those grains nutrient rich. For the enrichment of these grains, particularly with zinc, iron and protein, and also anthocyanin content, resistant starch, and also dividing those with nutritional factors like phytase. So all these, their contents has to be standardized, and I'm happy to announce that yesterday we identified a very important lines which is very good for biscuit making, soft wheat. And similarly we need to use DNA markers linked to the quality related genes in marker assisted selection, so that we can accumulate all the genes responsible for nutritional traits in a particular line before we go for its release. The main purpose of this particular discussion is not only to discuss the issues, which all the issues are very important and many of us are aware of these issues, but the main purpose is that let us bring out a standard document which has to be followed by all the breeders or wheat workers in the country, so that we can make our product nutritionally dense and nutritionally rich. So my request to all the panelists is that we have to come out with a very concrete suggestions, and with their lifelong experience, I am sure that we would definitely move in this direction with a greater speed and with very defined objectives we need to follow in the future. So I don't have much to say at this point of time, but I would like to say that I'm sure that this particular discussion will definitely make our efforts more fruitful in the future. Thank you very much. Over to the chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma ji, giving points on which we should concentrate. So after this, we are inviting Dr. Sevaram, and who will be talking about the status of wheat quality in India. Dr. Sevaram, I will request you to kindly take the important issues and give more time for discussion.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Chairman of the session, Dr. Misra Sahab, Honorable DDG, Dr. T.R. Sharma Sahab, very distinguished panelists, Dr. VP Singh, Dr. N.K. Singh and all the distinguished audience here. I am going to talk on important aspects of wheat quality. This wheat is very unique, and its importance is known all over the world. So I'm going straightway to the targets and the challenges and the achievements and the future planning which we have thought that are important. Here, sir, despite facing all kinds of stresses, by 2050, we have the target as per the vision document, 140 million tons. That means average we may have all India level 5 tons per hectare in potential. And that too in a situation increasing the potential, and that to meet the requirement, quality requirement of the industry and the nutrition, human nutrition. For this purpose, this is important because the industry, we don't have very authentic data of the present requirement by the industry. I think one of the panelists may give some account on that. But to our sources from the online system, that around 10 million tons of wheat currently is being used for bakery industry, and that to around $12 billion market. That is domestic, what I am talking about. And the growth rate is proposed compound growth rate, that is around 9%. If that goes on, by 2050, we may have 40 or 50 million tons of wheat being required for the baking industry domestically. Sir, one very important aspect is also coming in this stress. The CO2 is increasing, temperature increasing. That kind of situation may lead to improvement in the, some of the traits, but decline in very important micronutrients. So thus, sir, that means that will be another challenge in the future. And our targets are 45 ppm iron and zinc, and around 13 or more than 13% protein content for hard wheat. So these are the major challenges in the near future, and we have to meet them. So to develop industrial quality, these are the fundamental aspects of wheat quality. That for chapati we need the hard wheat, the protein content of 11 to 13%, medium gluten content. But for bread, very distinct, we need very strong and extensible wheat. So I would like to highlight here is that in our wheat variety, generally we don't have enough extensibility. So alveograph study indicates that. So we need to improve extensibility by combining allelic combinations of high molecular weight and low molecular weight glutenins. But it's possible. And for biscuits, cakes industry, the fundamental requirement is the soft wheat. Hard wheat is not at all suitable for biscuit industry. Otherwise, industry what to do? They involve and the chemicals, very dangerous chemicals, reducing agents to make it softer. And for pasta, that is hard wheat more than 30%. And here, sir, the main important component is the yellow pigment content. That should be more than 10 ppm. At the current level, we have varieties around 7.5 ppm. So there is some progress, but we need to concentrate in durum wheat on yellow pigment content, strong wheat, and hard wheat. And of course, as our Honorable DDG was talking about, the macronutrients and nutritional factors, these are the traits, and what we have achieved. I will be giving some brief account of that. Sir, so these are some major breakthroughs which we have, which will definitely is going to have the breeding. That is that we have developed very good genetic stocks for many of the traits. And these traits, these genetic stocks are available in NPGR. So this is one of the requirement of the breeding is available with us. Second is that macro level test requiring only 100 milligram of the grain or the flour. That we can test many of the traits required for breeding purposes. Segregating generations, we can evaluate them. We have internationally, we have also developed some of the very important markers. For example, very recently we developed codominant marker for glutathione double null, NAFAL, Indian land race, and that is very good for biscuit industry. And that we have also used that NAFAL, and we have developed in the glutathione double null in hiding background, and that has been registered in NPGR. So sir, in this slide, the main point is to indicate that we have the material available, we have the technology available, a very fast technology available. So it is the high time we can support the breeding for hard and soft wheat, for nutritional quality traits as well. That we have that kind of progress made in the last 10-15 years. Sir, here one point I would like to highlight, that we developed first time in India the mutant population, and we identified a mutant having more than 3 times phytase level. Phytic acid level less than 1%. And now we made the crosses, the material is F4 stage in hiding backgrounds, DBW 187, 2967, 3086. And some of these transgressive segregants, they showed more than 3500 FTU per kg. In our varieties, this ranges from 300 to 800. So you can imagine now that now we have developed the material for phytase to enhance the bioavailability. And a few days back, we have done an experiment, and this definitely the phytase is going to enhance bioavailability of both the micronutrients. And you see that significant progress has been made by CWIT in developing high yielding and high nutrient rich iron zinc varieties. And so these are our targets. But one thing is I would like to point out that agronomic biofortification as well, because our soil is deficient, as our Honorable Chairman was talking about, in zinc content. So in that situation, agronomic biofortification application of zinc sulfate, that can lead to improve the zinc content in our wheat. So though very good progress is made, we have yesterday also we identified a variety more than 30% protein content. But still, because there are very few varieties, so for different products, we need to have a very strong breeding program for that. So, sir, industry, as far as industry is concerned, as our Honorable Chairman was also talking about, that we need to have, when we have the industry, then when we need to cultivation of these important variety by the farmers. So we have agronomic management for that. And for that we need to identify some of the important traits and for industry and for export purposes. Though we have listed with us that we have identified what are the minimum requirements for example protein content, that should be around 12%, or that should be hectoliter weight, very important rate for export purposes, for domestic market as well. That so industry, I think, sir, we contacted, we tried, and we made several meetings and discussions with the industry, but industry is not coming forward. But still, we will be, and I'm happy that today we have one of the Millers Association representative here, and we will have definitely in future we are going to have a very strong association with the industry. And one more point is this, that since if we propagate whole wheat product, because otherwise starch-based products and biscuits and breads mostly in the market, we need to make these products by the whole wheat products, because most of the nutrients, they reside in outer part of the grain, and that is lost while milling industry. Sir, this is the final slide. The last slide, our conclusions, whatever I talked about, that if we have that kind of classification, different 5 groups, and these 5 groups we may have different requirements, and for nutritional quality traits in addition to iron and zinc. For example, here I was talking about that point is left somewhere. Yeah, sir, that is, we initiated work on anthocyanins and phenolics. We have F4 population. A lot of work done is by Nabi Mohali. They have developed anthocyanin-rich varieties, these wheat lines. So, sir, we have also initiated in our institute the work on phenolics, on anthocyanins, resistant starch. But, sir, this is the beginning. And when we have identified very important this micro level test available for these, if we are and we have characterized them at molecular level, so in future definitely we are going to have very important role of genomics and for genome editing. So sir, these are the briefly this slide. I think we can have a lot of discussion on that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
जो भी बोल रहे हैं आपके लिए काम का होगा, भाई अपने सारे ब्रीडर्स को भेज दीजिएगा।
Thank you, Dr. Sevaram. After this presentation, I would like that first 3 to 5 minutes enrichment of the wisdom by the respective experts here. So I'll invite Dr. Ravi to give your what should be done actually in the collaborative mode with more interaction, exchange of germ plan related to this.
Yes, thank you everyone. I think it's really a good time we discuss it, and especially seeing the opportunity that this year Indian wheat has gone out to many different countries. In any marketing, we have to, if you want to export it, you have to say what the importing country is demanding. So that's the number one. Who are your importers? How you bring the build your relations so you continuously you understand them and they understand you. I saw this happening with durum wheat from Mexico. So they have few buyers. They lay out their expectation, and most of the durum wheat every year goes to those countries. So I think that will be a very important aspect rather than going out and trying to go to everywhere, because in some countries wheat produced under dry condition would be much more competitive than a wheat produced under high yield environment. I think this is also a known fact.
मिश्रा जी,
So I also wrote few points. I think we know, and Dr. N.K. Singh probably can elaborate more. Dr. Sevaram already said, the genetics is pretty well understood, for wheat quality traits, at least traditionally what we say, either chapati making or bread making, noodle, etc. So there's plenty of knowledge and plenty of progress also in breeding, and it takes time also when you start breeding for any trait. So you have to have your timeline there, that by when we need to have these products. So when I was talking about product profile that's a new term. These are the profiles we need to identify and work together. Okay, this is what we want to achieve in the next 5 years. We have, for each case, most likely elite materials available to start off. So if you start off from elite, it will be easier to get there faster than starting from something which is far away. Also, I have seen, let's say, Mexico case, they released same time durum variety, which could compete the, let's say, desert durum from US, that kind of quality. But there was yield penalty and farmers wouldn't accept. So until you come either yield and quality moving together, and perhaps take away that option from farmer to grow variety with reasonable quality but higher yield, because they get paid for very often for yield rather than quality in most countries. So there's an issue. So farmers in Mexico didn't adopt because nobody was willing to pay the extra and have the lower yield. So that is another consideration which goes here. So how do you do it then? So our approach, like I mentioned, the mainstreaming, so slowly you moved in a way that quality becomes part of it, like disease resistance, zinc. So it becomes all part of your selection criteria. So we need to identify these traits and put a strong emphasis, which we have tried very much. And I think you would have noticed that there are many more materials coming from CIMIT which are of quite good quality. And they can compete very well. DBW 187 is one of the, from my side, what I have seen, very good example. It will compete with Australian prime hard for its quality traits, if you want to go that way. So that's something, chapati versus bread. I think you rightly said, my understanding is only about 10% of the wheat is being used by the milling industry. Most is consumed by families in rural areas or also in cities, and chapati is still going to stay in our diets, and there are some differences when you think of chapati versus the bread making, and we have to perhaps focus some and have some very good chapati quality at the same time when we are trying to think of the sandwich type of bread making quality, right? What else I have here, which after getting the good guidelines, look, the countries who are exporters, farmers are big farmers, so they are doing very good crop management to produce that quality, and I know very often they have fear they will not make to the quality, the best quality, so they also go through that dilemma. And many opt to basically go for medium quality, let's say, rather than trying to push to get high quality, because in some countries they get paid for that, so they do. But there is some risk also that you don't make to that quality and then you have some losses. So you have to have both angles. I think these were some of the main points I had, that we have the knowledge, genetic knowledge, as you say, through gel electrophoresis or markers or even genomic selection is pretty good to discard. The predictability is very good for quality traits. So if that is the goal, one can very quickly. But I would say you identify among the existing material, because it's not, maybe you are going to export right now and try out 10%, 20% of the produce, rest is going to be consumed here. So among the existing variety, get the classifications, which was done in Mexico. When variety is released, there is a label going M, F, and also for soft, soft wheat. So you know already what kind of product you are going to have out of that. Which is a very simple exercise, when you have your national trial, I hope you get samples to analyze from all sides, so you know also the stability of quality, extremely important part of it. So I think it's the decision if you make. I personally think there's already enough there to start off and not wait for too long. So let's give a start by simple things and keep building as we move forward. And do good product profiling, this is the new term, and that's basically to meet the market and consumer needs. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. So what we have decided that when the panel remarks are over, we will start interaction. So may I request Dr. Parminder? Okay. Dr. Parminder.
Harvest Plus.
Respected Chairman Dr. Misra ji and also Deputy Chairman, our Honorable DDG Research, whom I see here, Dr. Tia Sharma, and other panelists on the floor here. If we step back in 60s, plant breeders were challenged that we have to produce more in order to feed the population. And plant breeders accepted that challenge, and we see the green revolution that has occurred because primarily all the agricultural scientists, they contributed to that. And my tribute to all of you, and wheat produce also had a major role in solving the food crisis that we have had in the past. We don't have any more food crisis, especially because of production of excess wheat and rice and other staple crops. But what Honorable DDG has also mentioned, that we have a problem of malnutrition in the world as well as in India, which is rampant. And I'll focus my attention to malnutrition because much will be said about the production and other quality traits that we have. We, as Dr. Ravi Singh said, we know the genetics of quality traits, and we have done a lot in terms of bread baking quality as well as the chapati making quality. Of course, we have some other issues to address as well in terms of soft wheat quality for biscuits and export and so on and so forth. But I'll focus on malnutrition. In malnutrition, as DG Research already said, we have to focus on resistant starch, anthocyanin pigments, and essential micronutrients like iron and zinc in staple crops so that we alleviate the problem of malnutrition. One thing we don't understand a lot about is the genetics of these traits, iron and zinc especially, that we have to improve. We know a lot of transporter genes. Maybe Dr. N.K. Singh will elaborate much more on that, the prospects of using those in developing marketed selection. But as of now, we don't have very good handle on the genetics of these traits so that we have markers available. So it's a challenge to the young scientists that we develop markers for breeding for these traits more efficiently, more effectively. That's number one, I will say. Number two, what we see is because of alleviated carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere in future, we will see a decline in protein content.